Hello, welcome back folks. Got one for you today that I've had for a long time and it never really worked. It just didn't have the right pieces. And then Kaldheim came along like, yo, I got you. It's like, alright, cool. So what's the spin this whole time? Desecrated Tomb deck. All about this card. And this is the entire build around. 3-mana artifact whenever you... one or more creature cards leave your graveyard. That is per instance, one or more. Create a 1/1 black creature token with flying. So, to clarify how that condition might work with one or more. You exile 5 creatures with escape. That's one instance of one or more. Okay, so that would be one token. That said, Kroxa comes out, so you get 2 tokens anyway. So that's how it works. So, how are we abusing this? And how did Kaldheim help? Well, we'll get to Kaldheim right now, so you get the idea. Immersturm Predator. Nice indestructible dragon, but also at the same time, like, you can sacrifice creatures, which is totally cool, because you're sacrificing bat tokens or something like that, right? Like something that just doesn't matter. But it also says exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard, put a counter on it, right? Well, we'll just exile cards from our yard and make bat tokens. So that's one thing. So basically just a little more consistency to the deck and just another hard threat. And then we had Egon, God of Death, which also has Throne of Death. Both situations work. Throne of Death is obviously fueling the graveyard and putting stuff in there so that we can function with it. That kind of thing. Also, the draw card is never something that is a bad thing. But the front half says at the beginning of our upkeep, we get to exile 2 cards from our graveyard, and we can't sacrifice them, but we exile a creature plus another card, right? One instance of one or more. And so you just make sure one of those is a creature, and we get a bat token, and Egon stays in play. So big upside, right? Okay, so now with the Kaldheim things and just how it makes everything all consistent, what this did was took Emery and all the blue cards out of the deck that I had. So all the self-mill, gone, really, except for a few pieces that kept the colors a little bit more consistent in this territory. So, what's the main engine, basically? Oven, cat oven. Sack a cat, bring the cat back, get a token. More ovens, more cats, you know how it all works. More triggers of it, then more bats. Really good that way. Other one drop, obviously, Stitcher Supplier is it's an obvious card for the deck. Mill some cards, get us going. Oven can make us sack it. We have other ways to sack, obviously. Immersturm being an example. Scrapheap Scrounger is another one of those cards that's just resilient. We mill it over or something like that, or, our opponents kill it. We can just send it to its death. It really doesn't matter. But its cost is exiling another card from our graveyard. So it's an instance of exile the card from the graveyard and then Scrapheap Scrounger coming back. So that's two bat tokens along with our Scrapheap Scrounger coming into play. So that's how that functions. Mire Triton obviously is similar effect to Stitcher Supplier. Stops some cards in its tracks. Less interactive decks that want to use creatures. This is perfect for it. Got some Kroxa. Obviously, I mentioned the escapes shenanigans. Works similar to Scrapheap Scrounger, but at the same time, it's available. It does its Kroxa things. I mean, we don't have Euro anymore, so let's just play the other one we can play. And it works well in this deck. Fortuitous Find. I put this in the deck because it was the only thing that did the effect of bringing an artifact from the graveyard to hand. It's something useful. And I was thinking about cutting it. And then I drew it and I played it. And I'm like, okay, we're not cutting it. So for some reason, these 2 instances here of choose one or both, they act as 2 instances. So you can return, say, Stitcher Supplier and Scrapheap Scrounger, and you get 2 bat tokens. But it also allows you to get Desecrated Tomb in any other circumstance, right? So, there you go. So it is an actual functional card to make sure the Desecrated Tomb can come back from the graveyard if we're getting some bad RNG and it's just like none of the cards, like we're milling all the cards we want to draw and drawing all the cards we want to mill. One of those scenarios, then Fortuitous Find is one of those things that'll help correct things. All right, so with all of that, so we're just trying to bring stuff back from the graveyard. If our opponent plays Rest in Peace, we're going to be Well, I mean, it's whatever. Things happen. That would actually create a bat token in that process if someone were to cast Rest in Peace on us. So there we go. Yeah, stuff leaving the graveyard totally works for us. We don't have to play from the graveyard, but we most certainly want to use it. Anyways, with that said, we've got some mana producing lands, not messing around here, just making sure things work, and then we'll go from there if we want to produce anything else. This will draw us cards. Well, I suppose we can throw in Castle Locthwain, maybe, or the Red Castle. I don't even know. It doesn't belong in any of the red decks. So those are considerations for the deck, but I wanted to make sure mana and untapped mana work primarily. That's why there's only one Dragonskull Summit. I wasn't messing around. So anyways, that's the deck. Let's not care about removal. Alright, we're in. We're on the draw. I've been waiting about a minute because it's one of those games where nobody loaded, I guess. This doesn't have an engine to work with. If our opponent is playing creatures, we lose. If our opponent is not playing creatures, where are we sitting? Getting our stuff countered? Sure, fine. Alright, came up with a plan. We're on the draw. We'll just see what happens. Alright, well, they decided to finally show up. Again. Guess we'll throw in a death, turn 1. Since we'll be fueling a Kroxa for a Desecrated Tomb. I am worried that it is Pridemate, and we're okay against Pridemate as long as they don't have a Johnny. Because that's the one thing that breaks the stalemate. We can block everything that Pridemate does. White-blue! Well, that took forever. Let's see if we can give them another decision point. Discard a card, please. You get to choose. Then we attempt Desecrated Tomb. Then we attempt Fortuitous Find. The keyword is attempt here, by the way. Okay, opponent discards red card. Shatterskull Charger? It's Ball Lightning analog? I mean, I guess. Jeskai Ball Lightning. Alright, fine. Herald's Horn. So they're playing Giant Tribal. Actual Giant Tribal. Well, Desecrated Tomb's pretty good against that. So, Desecrated Tomb down. Immersturm Predator might be a better play, actually, now that I think about it. Because we can go yoink that bad boy over there. That said, we'd need a creature in play for it to matter. So there's that. 3 cards in the yard. Okay, there's that. So if we were to pull a card from the yard. 2 cards from the yard. Stitcher's Witch's Oven. If we play Witch's Oven, or if we play Stitcher's, then that makes for a good... I don't know how we're doing this yet. It does fuel an actual Egon. Okay, our opponent's back. Desecrated Tomb into the yard. Okay, so here's how we'll do this then. Stitchers makes a bat. If it's removed from the graveyard. And we get to grab Oven or Tomb. We could... The way the curve of Invasion of Giants works. So if they play their second white and play Realmcloak Giants, cast off, then the next turn they get to cast it for a reduced cost. So we don't want to give them every opportunity here, is what I mean to say. So we're going to Fortuitous Find, and we're going to grab both. And we're going to grab... I'm really deciding between these. We need to find... You know what? I'll take this. I'll take this for now. We'll play this. So what we're doing here is we're just setting up. So if this reveals a creature, then they get a giant. Well, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Get Bone Crusher Giant of all types. This actually makes the bats safer if they decide to use that, by the way. So they reveal Bone Crusher. And then they stomp our bat and we sack to an oven and they get nothing, unless they fire to face, of course. Sunder Shaman! Are you kidding me? Sunder Shaman! Oh, I see you have a ton of artifacts over there. It would be a shame if something happened to it. But they can't cast Sunder Shaman. They have no green. That said, they're obviously going to do something to mess with me. Okay, we continue on. We mill over Cauldron Familiar of all types of cards right now. Woo, baby! That's what I was hoping to find, and we just found it, which means that now we are off to the races. Immersturm Predator is going to be a big deal, by the way, for us. Let's start Stitcher Supplier. Okay, cards to the yard. And we get Kroxa. Kroxa's not half bad, but we want Immersturm here. He'll deal with Bone Crusher Giant in every way. Okay, and swing for 1. Okay, well, they cast Bone Crusher Giant on it. They held priority this long for it. Let's just get rid of Bone Crusher now. Well, that was fun. Now we can return Cauldron Familiar and have 2 more bodies to sack to Predator should they start barraging it with things. Dragonskull Charger is a card, I suppose. They have reduced cost right now, so they can just apply that directly to the kicker. Or they could play something else. We'll see. Nope, they reveal Dragonskull Charger. It's the same one. Sure. That said, I mean, whatever. Cultivate. Okay. Blue-white. Sure. Yep, blocking with Immersturm, sack Stitcher Supplier that gives us all the gas in the world. Okay, well, those immediately happen. They did it! They figured it out. Okay, so we block, stack Stitchers, put some stuff in the yard. We have Fortuitous Find for anything that's real sweet. We did not find anything real sweet. And then we just go, how about we just exile Stitchers and make a bat token. Kill your guy. My turn. Bring the cat back. Make a token. My turn. Mill a cat. Find a land. Okay, any... oh, there's Desecrated Tomb in there. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, so Fortuitous Find. Boop, boop. We'll grab Desecrated Tomb and... Mire Triton? Yeah, Mire Triton. Another bat. The Desecrated Tomb. Crack in. These are just Dragonskull Chargers. Creature we want to get rid of here. One of the Kroxas is fine. Okay! We're getting to do things! When our opponent is tapped out and not holding priority. Okay, no cards revealed. Third chapter, so cheap stuff. Sunder Shaman comes into play. Okay. Sack the cat. Seems like there's no priority being held here. And our opponent says, yeah, that's just not going to do it because that gives me enough damage for lethal, I guess. Yeah, it does. Well, we eventually got there. It'll look a lot faster on your end when I cut out like 90% of the match. Well then, we're on the play, and we have Desecrated Tomb. Can we draw into other things? It's just not good enough. Slow, dirtly, not doing anything. Here's something that'll, you know, start moving. Sure. One Scrapheap Scrounger. The other one will do fine. We can Mire Triton our way through things, or we can Scrapheap Scrounger our way through things. We'll see. Our opponent, playing Temple of Silence, says I probably want to play a little more aggressively than defensively, so we'll play Scrapheap Scrounger. We'll go from there. And if they want to use removal, then go nuts, I guess. Like, not a great threat. It's already attacked for 2, based on that. Our opponent with 2 Knight of the Ebon Legion. Yeah, we'll swing in. And we're going to play Desecrated Tomb now. So, our opponent playing vampires, which means that we need to play a little more defensively if we can, but Scrapheap Scrounger is not very good at that. We can. We're usually on the defensive with this deck. Normally. Normally we're on the defensive. Yep. Of course. Haunt. Really? You're gonna just jank me out like that? Alright, fine. Sen? Mire Triton. That didn't give us anything worthwhile. That's really not helpful. Obviously, we're just getting punked out. It is what it is. We were punked. Yeah. Well, whatever. Yeah. That is the card that exists. Block. Five cards in the yard, we don't have a 6th. Which is a bit of a problem. Stop! Interact or something! Help me! Yeah, alright. Well, whatever. Alright, we're in. We're on the play. We have Cat Oven and Desecrated Tomb. Double Oven, even. Keep. Guess Blood Crypt is the best choice turn 1 here, just so that we know where our mana is going. So we need to draw a land, for one. Sweetwater Cliffs, that is not a land. I'll aim on the black end of the mana curve for the moment, and then we'll cap. Pass the turn. If they hold mana up, then we'll make sure we always have an oven untapped while the cat is in play. Like so. Okay. That went a little quicker. We're good to go. Egon shows up. I mean, we have to take Egon in Egon form right now. Our opponent, Tormenting Voice, realizing that removal is basically useless. Okay. And that's it. They don't want to deal with Cat Oven. Well, I don't want to deal with your Phoenix either, but we both got graveyard decks, so we're in. We're on the play. We have Kroxa, Oven, Tomb, Keep. So we have turn 1 Oven, turn 2 full control of Kroxa, so that we can sack the Oven. That's a good spot to be. Good-ish, I should say. That's not bad. Full control. Alright. And full control off. We're good to go. Opponent on the draw is not going to feel that one too heavy. So, mindless ramp deck with the Giant. We are going to, I guess, Desecrated Tomb. This is one of those draws that's just asking to lose, sadly. Cultivate? Yeah, just mindless ramp. That's not bad, actually. Alright. Oh, hold on. Hopeful control, sure. Actually, you know what? Let this one go, because I'm going to play Scrapheap Scrounger, and they played white mana, and I'm a little concerned. Yeah. You know, in case there's an O-ring effect or something like that, we definitely want to be able to sack it. They take 3. Scrapheap Scrounger's at least a play. We could exile Kroxas if we have to. Additionally, if they're playing Ugin, this is exactly where we want to be. And then they play a card that just totally takes you by surprise. Yo. Fine. Nifty. We're letting that happen. This Fortuitous Find is interesting, as we can get 2 tokens in the air. But we can do that with Scrapheap Scrounger anyway, and they may not be paying attention. Play the last Kroxa. Fortuitous Find can come back later. We can do that move anytime. Take another bit of damage. We might just have to race them. So if they just attack with it, sure, fine. We will snag it. But they have... I mean, everything's coming up Millhouse. And that last card is Cultivate, isn't it? Basically, yes, is the answer. Okay, so we have to kill them. That is our answer now. We are going to kill them. Because this one Scoot Swarm's not doing anything. In fact, it doesn't even exist to me anymore. Okay, swing in. Sack Scrounger. Fortuitous Find. Both halves. Artifact. Kroxa. Like I said, we gotta kill them as fast as humanly possible. They have no cards in hand, so this is a bolt. Okay. Only 3 cards in the yard. We have food. We can get through this. Of course they draw into the ramp spell. Yeah. 6, 7, 8. No blocks. We get them down to 2 naturally. Six, 7, 8 plus 8, 16. Sack 3 food is 9. It puts us to 18. So we're alive? We're alive. Yeah. We're alive. Yeah, that cultivate ain't gonna do a thing. We're alive. Oh, we're gonna get through this. Resolve all. In fact, don't auto pass. Just get that. Yeah, okay, we're good there. Oh, please stop, opponent. Resolve all. Fine. I mean, they're going overboard. They're very, very, very dead. My tokens beat your tokens. My turn. We'll give him a good game. Okay, well, everything at the end, I'd say deck feels a lot better, consistent. Even when it's not doing what it's supposed to, it's still doing something, which was a lot more than what it was doing before. Before, it's just like, just pitter around. All the draws felt really weak. Like, you draw an Emery and it doesn't do anything. It's like, you've got a 1-2. Congratulations. This deck doesn't do what it's supposed to. I'm dropping Egon as a 6-6 and Scrapheap Scrounger, and I'm beaten down. So, yeah, it's a little, just a touch better. Like, if it's not doing a graveyard plan, it's doing a beatdown plan, and its bodies are sufficient to do that job. So, no complaints there. And so, yeah, we have a beatdown deck when it doesn't work, and a really cool synergy Desecrated Tomb deck that does not care about your removal at all. Not even remotely close, or anything that you were willing to do. Because we just chump block everything, and we just beat you over, you know, a bunch of 1/1s in the air. That's usually what happens. Anyways, fun graveyard deck for you. I'm sure that nobody's really caring that much about graveyard. Well, they might a little bit. But that said, we don't have to have the graveyard to function. It helps, but if they bring in graveyard hate, I never considered sideboard for this. But yeah, maybe a sideboard plan is something in case graveyards do get cleared. Okay, had to think about it for a second. How about this? There, easy. Just you convert into the sacrifice deck. How was that? You juke the graveyard by converting into sacrifice. Get wrecked. I'm playing a defensive deck. Now I'm going to kill you and you're never having anything ever again. So sacrifice outlets, obviously we're going to need to know. Witches Oven, Immersturm Predator, and then we'd have some Priest of Forgotten Gods and Village Rites. This is just 5 seconds of putting something together. Anybody that's more familiar with the sacrifice deck probably come up with something a little bit more reasonable and, you know, manage to condense some of those cards so that they can fit some other cards in there, like maybe getting rid of cards like Cage, because Cage is obviously like Grafdigger's Cage. So maybe some Shredded Sails and the like there. Get rid of cards like that. Or Rest in Peace, in which case you need to do enchantment removal. Anyways, those are the other suggestions beyond that, but here's the sideboard juke if you want it. Just a quick suggestion. So if you're playing best of 3, there you go. Hope you enjoyed. Anyways, this is definitely the memery and a half. And just having some super fun with bats and trying to make this card go absolutely nuts. I remember it was a joke card that couldn't really get that far at its time. Because I believe it was red. No, the decks were going absolutely nuts. That's Teferi nonsense at that time, wasn't it? Yeah, that was 3 fairy and all that. Anyway. Yeah, it didn't do well in Standard, but there's a deck around it here that you just saw available in Historic and has a reasonable plan. So Take care, and I'll see you later. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.